Good morning, students. Hope you all are doing good. So, today I am going to start Unit 2 Plant Physiology. In this unit, we will learn about the uh, metabolism, structure of the plant tissues, metabolic processes like respiration, absorption of roots, imbibition, active transport of diffusion, osmosis, and experiments that is conducted to show the absorption of water through the xylem. Now, what is plant physiology? So, plant physiology is the branch of biology which deals with the life functions and metabolism of the plant. It is very important to study the plant physiologies to get the knowledge of the internal structure and different processes like photosynthesis, respiration, transpiration, and other processes related to the plant body. So, we all know root is the important part of the plant. Through the roots only plants get water and minerals from the soil. So, the root not only fix the plant, it also supplies the water and minerals to the plant, which helps in the development and growth of the plant. So it has a life important and a life supporting system of the root, which is water absorption. Along with the water, mineral nutrients, micronutrients, macronutrients are also absorbed from the soil and transfer into the different part of the plants like leaf, flowers, fruits, etc. Now, what is the need of water and minerals for the plant? So, water and minerals, as I said, it is very important for the growth and development of the plant. So, it is also needed for the four purposes. First one is photosynthesis. You can see first one is photosynthesis, transpiration process, transportation process through phloem, and mechanical stiffness. It gives strength to the plant also. So, we all know about the photosynthesis, that it is a process through which plants make their own food by using sunlight, chlorophyll pigment, carbon dioxide, and water, and they produce a raw material. All these are the raw material, and they produce glucose as a food, which is a fuel for the plant. Now, next process is transpiration. So, transpiration is the excess water that is removed from the aerial part of the plant. So, a large quantity of water gets evaporated or lost as a water vapor during this process. So, it has a cooling effect. So, it keep the plant cool in a hot weather, and it also produce a suction force so that water can move up from root to the aerial part. So, transpirational pull is also very important for the absorption of the water and mineral through roots. Next process is transportation. Transportation helps in this process helps the glucose to supply or leaves to supply glucose into different parts of the plant. So, all the glucose, all other mineral salts, they come, they can move in any direction and helps in the transportation of sugar and other mineral salts. This is very important process for mechanical stiffness also, you can see. So, water provides turgidity. So, when when the plant cell absorb the water, it becomes swollen, the cell become turgid. It is fully distended or fully charged, which is very important for the stiffness, so that plant can withstand against any conditions. Now, mineral nutrients, they are very important, and they also absorb through water only by the roots. Some of the nutrients are absorbed as salts. So all the nitrates, phosphate and sulfate salts, they are present in the soil. Same way some ions like potassium, calcium, magnesium and chlorine also is simply absorbed by the plant root, and it transfer from root part to the other shoot part of the plant. These elements are very important constituent of the cell organelles, and they through this only a variety of compounds and enzymes are produced inside the cell only. So this is all about the need, why plants need water and minerals. Remember the four processes: photosynthesis, transpiration, transportation of food and mechanical stiffness. Water and minerals are very important for the plant body. Now what are the characteristics of root? So we all know that the ability of a root, what is the function of the root? To draw water from the soil. So it has three characteristics. First one is a huge surface area. So if a root is spread into a, or its root hair or rootlets spreaded in a large area, then it will absorb the more water content. So huge surface area is important. Second characteristic of roots are root hair containing the solution at a concentration higher than the surrounding of the soil water. So root hair, that place concentration should be higher of the cell sap, and water and minerals always move, water always move from the higher concentration to lower concentration, then only it will absorb more. And root hair should have the thin walls. Third characteristic is root hair should have thin walls so that it can allow water to enter easily. Now what is first point? You can see here they are showing the picture. In this picture you can see a freshly germinated seed showing the single root with lots of hair root. So here you can see surface area is high, it is large. So even in a small garden pea like balsam, when we uproot that, we can see a bunch of rootlets like this, tiny rootlets. They are called branch root, and so we can easily uproot a balsam plant or any other plant, and we can see the root hairs. So you can see the diameter or width of the root hair. So here is a botanist. You can see in a blue box, a botanist H.J. Dilthmer work out that a 4 month he just studied about the rye plant. So he found that it has a length of 600 kilometer. So the number of root hair is very high, 14 billion approximately. So he has which would even exceed 10,000 kilometer. So he has just conducted and just observed different plant, and when he saw the rye plant, he observed this data, he got this data. So altogether we can see that high surface area can facilitate or increase the absorption of water. More surface area, more water it will absorb. Second is, as I already told you, that cell sap. So root hairs contain the cell sap, which is a fluid, and it contains the minerals also. So they contain large vacuole. In this vacuole only, plant cell vacuole, it contains a solution which is called cell sap. So it contains a salt which is dissolved in the cell sap. So this cell sap is also very important. So this is also a very important characteristic to draw in water from the soil. So third one is thin wall. So like all plant cells, root hairs also have two outer layer, the cell wall and the cell membrane. So the cell wall is thin and cell wall is permeable. It allows molecules to enter into it. So it allows a water molecule and other dissolved salts freely move in and out of the cell. So permeable means completely permeable. It can allow anytime the molecules can move inside and outside the cell. The cell membrane is thin and semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means it allows only some molecules to enter into it, not all the. So it is also written here, you can see that it allows water molecule to pass through, but not the larger molecule of the dissolved salt. So this is the secret. This semi-permeable membrane, this cell membrane characteristic of this semi-permeable is very important, which allow only molecules to enter into it. Now in the figure 4.2 you can see they are showing the label diagram of single full grown root hair. So here you can see two successive stages of growth of the epidermal cell. So here fully grown root hair, you can see nucleus they are showing, root hair beginning to grow out. So first one is root hair beginning to grow out, this one first stage, and this is the fully grown. So we have the two stages here. It has the vacuole which store the cell sap, it has the cytoplasm, cell membrane which is semi-permeable, cell wall, outer membrane which is a permeable, and epidermis cell. So this is the structure of the root hair. So now you can see absorption of the root hair. So in your chapter in this absorption can be done by 5 main phenomena. First one is imbibition, then diffusion, osmosis, active transport, and turgidity and flaccidity. So imbibition is the phenomena by which only dry cells or cells which are living or the dead plant cells, they absorb water by surface attraction, by the surface attraction only. So substances which are made up of cellulose and they are or proteins, they are hydrophilic. Hydrophilic means they have the they are water loving, so they have the high affinity for water, they are water loving, so they will absorb more water. So they imbibe water. Imbibe means they absorb water and minerals and they become swell up. So any dry seed, like any moong, rajma seed, kidney bean seeds, or any moong dal seed, or any seed, dry seed, when we will or raisins, when we will soak in under water, it will absorb the water, it will become swell up. So even the wooden door during the rainy season. So imbibition process, always remember, it allows the dry seeds or dry or semi dry objects or to swell up when they come in contact with the water. So they absorb or imbibe the water, and during this process it will build up. When it absorb the water, it will build the imbibitional pressure. So because of that pressure, the seed coat of the kidney bean or any moong dal will burst out or it will rupture, so a seed can germinate. So seed germination of the seed is done by all the germination of the seed is done by the imbibition process. Remember this thing. So it is a very important force in the ascent of sap also. This I will explain you in the further page, further topics. Now you can see diffusion. So diffusion is the another process. It also allows movement, but you can see here free movement is written. So it allows free movement of molecules. Molecules can be in the form of solute, solvent, gas, or liquid, any states of the substance of a molecule, and the direction will always be from the higher concentration to the lower concentration when they are when they come in direct contact. So this is the definition of diffusion. Diffusion is the free movement of molecule from a from a region of higher concentration to a lower concentration. So one activity is given. As you can see, we have to place a sugar cube or small tablet of soluble dye, any dye, or we can take a crystal of potassium permanganate in a beaker containing water. So you can see figure 4.3, you can see when we will add the crystal of potassium permanganate, so or any dye So here you know that sugar cube is solid in solid state, tablet of the soluble dye is also a solid state, and crystal also solid state. So whenever you will add into it, it is spread slowly. Potassium permanganate is purple in color or red in color. So you can see slowly the molecules of potassium permanganate will move, and it will form a uniform solution through after some time. So a part, you can see A picture, diffusion started after adding the potassium permanganate crystal. B part, it is progressing, it is moving, molecules of crystal potassium permanganate now moving. And C part is diffusion completed. So we will get a homogeneous solution which is evenly distributed. So in this is the example of diffusion process. In the movement of molecule, there was no obstacle of any kind of path, no membrane is there, no semi membrane is there. So molecules will easily move from higher to the lower concentration. Now let us see how the definition of diffusion applies in this experiment, in this case. So the molecule of the dye are more, when we will add it